Alright, welcome to 24. We are going to start talking about fly systems today. The first fly system we're going to talk about is one of the oldest fly systems in existence, and that is going to be a hemp system. It is called a hemp system because everything within the system utilized hemp rope. This would also potentially be called a hemp house, is another term that is commonly used. With this, we've got a few things we're going to talk about, and then we'll move on to some other systems beyond that. But starting here with hemp, this is a pretty straightforward system. You're going to start here with your batten. The batten is the same as in the other systems we're going to talk about. This is going to be the big steel pipe that is out over your stage. This is where you're going to hang your scenery, hang your curtains, hang your lights. Anything that you want to fly in and out over top of your theater is going to be on a batten. From here, one of the things that's different between this and the other two systems we're going to talk about today is everything on this is hemp rope. So once you leave your batten here, you're going to have your lift lines. These are the lines that will lift up your batten. In this system, these will be hemp rope. Once you go up here on your lift line, we're going to imagine that this truss here is the very top of your theater in your fly loft. Your fly loft is where all of your items will fly into. So right now, if I play this game, this would be my batten flown all the way out. I might have a piece of scenery on here that's about this tall, so when it flies in, I need that much room down here below as well. So say you have a 25-foot proscenium. You're going to have minimum of 25 feet where you want to see curtains, backdrops, things like that. And then you need another 25 feet above that, so when you want something to fly out, it has the room to go up into the heavens and disappear from the line of sight of your audience. So with the 25-foot proscenium, you're probably really looking at a minimum 60-foot grid. So that way you have a little bit of headroom here, because this clearly doesn't go all the way up to the top. And then depending on sight lines, you want that to be a little bit higher up above that 25 feet, just so people can't see the bottom of your drop poking out from beneath a teaser or something like that. So, batten goes to lift lines. Lift lines go to your loft blocks that are up here in your fly loft. Once you get here, these loft blocks are going to redirect your line. Come on, lights, there we go. These loft blocks redirect your lift lines to go over off stage. Once they get off stage, up here is what's called the head block, because it's up at the top, right where your head is. All of these lines are going to go here. Once they get here, they're all going to come down, and they're going to connect here at a clue plate. This clue plate is actually just a big hunk of metal that will grab all of your lines. This is a very small system because I'm in a garage. I only have 2 lift lines. The wider your stage is, the more lift lines you're going to need, because you need to evenly distribute where you are lifting on this pipe so you can put scenery on it without it sagging in the middle and doing things like that. So, depending on how wide you are, you might have up to 8 or 9 lift lines coming over here to your glue plate. Most commonly you're looking at probably 5 or 6, to be honest. But all of those lines are going to leave this head block, come down to this plate. This is where they're all going to connect. From here, on on this clue plate, you're also going to have your hand line, also hemp rope, that goes down to the pin rail. The pin rail is how you would balance all of this out, and I will get to that in a minute. Beyond that, I'm using some more pulleys here as my counterbalance. In reality, these would be sandbags within a hemp system. The sandbags are going to range somewhere between 25 pounds and 200 pounds. There's that much variation because depending on how heavy your scenery is, you want to be close to matching that. And I do emphasize close, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But say I have a 500-pound set piece, I do not want to hang 25 or hang 20 25-pound sandbags off of this one little clip when I could take a couple of 200-pound bags and a 100-pound bag, clip them on here, and be good. It just would be crazy having all those 25-pound bags here, so they have all that difference in variation in sizes, so you can get to the weight you need fairly easily. So with this, I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to attach my scenery onto my batten here. So once I get the scenery clipped on, you'll notice that this is now considered batten heavy because I'm out of balance. My batten is heavier than my hand line over here. If I try to lift this up, and I don't have pulleys binding up, it's going to immediately want to go back. It wants to go right back down to the ground. So now, this is one of the biggest disadvantages of a hemp system. The only place I can clip sandbags on is typically down here at the ground. That means I have to be able to heft all of this weight up into the air by pulling on this. This is where you need to definitely be strategic about how much weight you're hanging on your batten at any given time. I say that because I could go and put 10 lights on all at the same time, and all 10 of those lights weigh 25 pounds. That means I have to lift 250 pounds up here all in one fell swoop. Instead, if I go and hang 3 of those lights that are 25 pounds, then I'm only lifting 75 pounds. And then that way I can do a little bit at a time. The annoying part is I'd have to pull this all the way down, add some weight, fly it all the way back in, add some more to the batten, fly it all the way out, add some more weight, and I'm just going to keep doing this until I am balanced out. So with this, I said you want to be close to balanced because here's the other problem. Is if I get this perfectly balanced here, I'm going to go and clip on this other sandbag here. Now, I'm close, but it still wants to travel back in. So I'm going to add one more sandbag here. And now you see it's balanced, right? The trick here though is if it's balanced, I'm over here on my hand line, I'm saying, hey, I want this to travel in, but it's not going to go anywhere because it's a balanced system right now. So instead, I want to have this typically about 25 pounds to 50 pounds out of balance, batten heavy. That means with it naturally being heavier, it's going to want to travel in. It also means that when I'm flying it out, I'm going to have a little bit of work that I need to do because I'm going to have to be able to lift that 25 to 50 pounds and get it up out of the air. So now, once I have my system flying here, I want that set piece to stay there. I can't just let go because it wants to drop back down now. So this is where a pin rail comes in. It really is just a rail that has a bunch of pins on it. Something about like this, all the way across on a rail over here on the side. That's where I would come in, and I would tie off my rope to those pins so that it stays where I want it to stay. And then those pins can pull out of the rail, so when I'm ready for this to fly in, I just pull out that pin, my whole knot system comes undone, and then the whole system will fly in until it lands, or until I have it tied off somewhere else, or I stop it and retie it where I want it to be. So back in the day, this was really the only sort of system you would see. Things have definitely come a long way since then. You'll see this a lot in older places still, and they are still used today. There's nothing wrong with them. They just have their own quirks that you need to know about and be aware of so that you can operate them efficiently and safely. And just knowing that you're always going to have to be a little batten heavy is one of those things that you just need to pay attention to so that you don't get stuck with something up in the air that you cannot get to come back down. Beyond that, these pulleys equal sandbags right now, and you've got a hemp hand line here, and just like with a real hemp system, as I'm pulling this rope down, I'm just going to have some rope bunch up on the floor right there at my feet until it goes somewhere else. We're going to move on to single purchase line sets, but don't be afraid to ask any questions if I'm not clear on anything here. Thank you guys.